Hi, Hayden here, and in this video I'm going to talk about changing out a kitchen sink faucet. But I also want to mention that this is my office, and these are the doors that I removed the melamine, that plastic material that you find on some cabinet doors. I removed the melamine. That's these doors here. And I also want to mention this is still the primer. This is just primer. I never did finish painting them. I was working on other projects, studying for a bar exam, things like that nature. But I also wanted to leave them with the flat white to see how I really liked it, to see if I wanted to go with a semi-gloss or high gloss, whatever I wanted to do. And I have decided that flat white is what I want. So I am going to paint the cabinets and they will be flat white throughout. I just really like the way they look for me. It's just my cup of tea. Now in this video here, we're talking about changing out this faucet, and this is the same faucet. So why would I have two? Because this is from my house. And the reason why we're changing these out, let me just show you on the front here, is these end up getting pitted. We use heavy duty cleaning techniques, I guess, around here. Hardcore cleaning, and sometimes things happen and things get damaged. Also, it's about time to change these things out because of functionality and other concerns that I may have had with that. So, but what I really want to point out is it's a 3-hole sink. So there's 3 holes back here. There isn't one of those spritzer things or anything. It's just the 3 holes, and that is to accommodate the hot water, the cold water, and these are just little nuts that come off to actually go in and hold it from the bottom. And then this little plug right here just actually all sits right down into 3 holes. All right, and it's important to have the 3-hole thing for a reason, because the replacement faucet that we're going to be using here is like the one I installed next door. Is also, you require the 3 holes, but this is what happens here. This is the longer one is the hot water, and these are copper pipe, but the longer one's for the hot water, and it's labeled for that. And the other 2 have these different types of holders on the bottom of it, because you see the top one here just has these threaded posts that go down, and this little thing just spins off just like this nut down here. It's just different. Instead of threading on the pipe, it just goes on this threaded thing. This holds it down flat and nice on top of the sink. And this other one, both of them anyways, the bottom line is they both will allow me to do the same thing, connect everything I want to connect to the pipe up front, and then feed it through the holes and then make the connection. So right now we see the old faucet that I'm going to be removing is in place, and I'm going to come back after I've actually made the swap. And the reason why I don't show you the technique of actually digging under there and doing it is because, number one, my camera really doesn't fit under there to see it, and number 2, the technique is just simple enough. Basically, I make my connections here. I'll show you that. As a matter of fact, the next thing I'll make a clip where I'll show this where I made the connections. And then I'm just going to drop everything right down in the sink. So stand by and we'll see that in a moment. Alrighty, so that was a blast. What I did was I basically was underneath the counter and I was removing these nuts that they have on the end of it. Now the issue for me here was that I was trying to get this off, to remove this nut over top of this nut here on the water line, and it doesn't quite work that way. But once I disconnected the hose lines and disconnected those nuts, this part just comes right off. So it makes a little bit of a mess on the floor. So with that, I'm going to dry this up. It just made a little bit of a spritz on the floor, but I don't want to drag my microphone cord through that, and I don't want anything else to take place that is unforeseen. One of the things I'm going to do though is I noticed a little bit of discoloration or whatever on the stainless steel sink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that up, and then when I come back, we'll go ahead and put the new faucet into the new into the three holes of the sink. So wait for that. Okay, we're back. Basically, I just cleaned up the top of the sink. It had some basically soap residue and things of that nature under there. No real signs of corrosion or anything. And so we're going to be ready to go ahead and install the new faucet. Basically, I just got to remove these nuts that I put on there first, and then come on. All right, so this part of it is basically, make sure you get the thing oriented correctly. You don't want to have to take it apart and put it back together. So I just connected the water lines to the faucet, And I'm just going to drop all of these through that center hole. And the other thing that you want to make sure you have is that the gasket, you know, this one here is a black gasket. The other one had a clear plastic gasket. You just want to make sure that that is seated properly, you know, to protect the faucet and make sure that everything's, you know, positioned well. Now, when I first go under the sink here, I'm not going to show you that because I can't really get the camera under there. But basically, I'm going to take these two nuts and I'm going to put them on the faucet and tighten them up. Just lightly finger tight, not even finger tight, just kind of lightly, just when they're just starting to make some contact. And then I'm going to come out and I'm going to, you know, reposition this. You see there's quite a bit of motion here. I don't know if you can see that, but there's quite a bit of motion because nothing's connected. So I'm going to go down there, put these things on just where there's a little bit of give, you know, a little bit of pull on it. And then I'll, you know, pop back up here, make sure that this thing's where I want it to be. Go back underneath, tighten it down. And then once I get that tightened down, I will make the water line connections to the water input to the house. Okay, so with that, let me go ahead and see if I can get this positioned correctly. All right, so I'm back and I have everything connected. I have the water lines hooked up, and of interesting note, is that in this neighborhood there was a water main break late last night. I think hundreds of thousands of gallons of water went down the drain. It actually raised up the sidewalk, and I shot some video of that, and I'll probably put that on YouTube as well because I thought that was interesting that the water was so powerful that it could lift up a sidewalk. Now that water pipe is like 6 feet under the ground. It's down deep into the ground. Apparently it was one of the original water pipes that the city put in, and over time, you know, movement of the earth and all that kind of stuff, and just settling in time, a crack formed, and it was able to lift up the sidewalk. And of course a big crack in the pipe, and the water was out. But I just tested the water here, and well, it's back on. So as long as the water's working here, and I'm going to run this for a couple of minutes to make sure it's safe and everything, that all works well. But water pipe breaks and everything. Of note is underneath that where I connect. I want to make the point here is that these water pipes, these little water cables, whatever, these water lines, they're made for water. Okay, they're manufactured to transport water from the service input into the house for the sink, and they come out through the faucet. Yet I find corrosion on these things far too often. The thing is it's manufactured to handle water. It's going to be wet. It's going to be damp. It's going to be in a dark environment underneath the cabinet. You would think that by now manufacturers would get their stuff together and make these things that are going to be surrounded in water all the time, that they don't corrode so easily. So it kind of boggles my mind. Somebody could make a note below if they can explain, other than wanting us to buy new cables every time or new lines every time, and I do. By the way, anytime I change a faucet, I change the water lines because first off, it's been there for a certain number of years, whether it's 3, 5, 10 years, however long it's been there. That's number one. It's time to put a new line in. But secondly, because of corrosion and other incidents and everything, I don't want to deal with the hassle, aggravation, and frustration and wasting of my time dealing with the old cable trying to get it to work again. So every time I do something, I buy brand new cables or brand new wires or lines or whatever, and I install them with it, because I don't really expect to have to change this anytime soon, and that's what I'm looking for. I think the thing looks nice. It looks pretty. It's simple. It's very basic. It gets water. It gets hot and cold water into my sink, right where I want it to be. I want to mention another thing about valves. Underneath the counter here, I check for a water leak for a week or more, okay? Because I don't necessarily trust anything that's been put in there. And I know from personal experience and seeing too many things in my years that water is an insidious beast. And an insidious beast, it will actually attack every possible chance. If water can do damage to your house, it will find a way. I guarantee it. It happens far too often for it to be some kind of hokey thing. It just will happen. The valves underneath our sinks, we turn them on. Why we turn them off? There's no reason to turn the things off. There should be some kind of different valve or something like that. But anyways, over time, because they've only been in one position, now we turned it off so that we could do this work, and then we turned it back on. Well, you know, sometimes things get messed up, you know, age, whatever it is. The valves might have an issue with them. So that's really why I'm leak testing underneath the sink. And the way we do that, if I find my paper towels, basically my wife and I have determined that the best way to do a leak test is just to put paper towels underneath the sink, check it a couple times a day. Seriously, don't play with that water. It'll do serious damage, and it'll do damage fast. Like I say, between last night and this morning, hundreds of thousands of gallons of water right down the drain because of that pipe. That hole in that pipe was huge. But that's it. You know, check your water, check your leaks, make sure that everything's done. If you need to hire a professional, go ahead and do it. A good handyman that knows what they're doing can do it. But in all honesty, I believe in my experience that this is an easy enough job for just about any homeowner to do. It's you saw me just drop the connections down in there. I just had to make the connections back up. The biggest time thing, in all honesty, the thing that took me the most amount of time with this particular project was just taking the things out, and there really wasn't that many. I mean, I only keep a couple of cleaning supplies there. They're in a bucket, so there they go, one thing out. And there was something else. There was a cutting board that was under there, and there was a recycle bin. I have a little recycle bin that I use from when I feed my cats. I put little cans in there until I put them in a recycle bin. So that's all really that was under there. So it really took me more time just to take things out, wipe things down. Oh, and also because I'm taking water connections apart, there is going to be water dropping in underneath the sink while I'm working. And it happens like 3 or 4 times during the process. And that valve, while the thing's disconnected, while this end of the hose is disconnected underneath the sink, this is the part that goes up to the faucet, and this part here is connected to the service coming into the house. And when I disconnect this, that little valve doesn't really close all the way, and it still drips water underneath the sink. So 3 or 4 or 5 times during this process, I actually had to go in there with paper towel and dry everything up before I crawl back in there, just to make sure things are, you know, nice and dry for me to work on. The bonus of that, the thing got cleaned 4 or 5 times in the process. So with that, it's a very easy process to change out the faucet with today's manufacturers designing the faucets to be able to be installed by the homeowner in a quick and efficient manner. And I greatly appreciate that aspect of it. If they could just get their water lines not to rust, I'd be a really happy camper about that. So with that, until I catch you in the next video, take care and be well.